Through the first and the gospel readings, God is conveying to us this great vision He has for us, or for the humanity. The vision is quite poetic. On this mountain, I will bring everyone together. There will be plenty of wine and rich food, and we shall be all one, the lion and the lamb alike. Everything in peace, and this mountain is Jerusalem. And it is very ironical. I don't think there is any rich food or wine at this time at Jerusalem. I don't think there is lamb and lion cuddling each other in Jerusalem these days. Least to say, there is no peace there, as we know what is happening in that place. But it is a dream and vision that God has consistently communicated to His people. It is the heart of God around this mountain. And if we look at the Old Testament in a philosophical way, we can understand this. The desire in God's heart is order. And we read that in the first story in the Bible, that God created a garden. Garden, as we know, it's order. Everything is well looked after. Eden garden. So the desire God brings to humanity is order. Then of course there is selfishness, which destroys the order, which is destroying the structure. So when human selfishness destroys, challenges, attacks God's order, what do we end up with? Chaos. And this is exactly played out in the life of the people of Israel. In a political way, or even in a spiritual way. The people of Israel was enjoying the order. And so when we enjoy too much order, what happens to us? We become slaves to the order, slaves to the rituals. In other words, too much order degenerates and it becomes pathologically sort of self-serving order. And what happens? Then there is chaos. When people who are in power, who are so attracted to power, controls the order, then it becomes pathological. What we need is someone who is competent in powerful places. So the order the people of Israel experienced was destroyed, degenerated under the rule of kings who doesn't really align their reality with what God has called them into. So what happens there? Chaos, which brings slavery for them under the power of Pharaoh in Egypt. And then God, this slavery means absolutely no imagination. You are a machine. There is no creativity. There is no imagination in tyranny and slavery. From a place of order, they go into complete tyranny, whether they are slaves. Then what happens? God acts again. Through Moses, He brings them out of tyranny. When they come out of tyranny, where do they go? They go into these 40 years of wandering. What is happening there? It's absolute chaos. Because there is a lot of complaining, bickering, that they don't want to be, they won't like to go back to slavery because they don't have to think. But now they are out of slavery, they find themselves very much in chaos. Then what does God do again? He comes down and gives them an order. What is the order? To live as a community with differences. To live as a community as different personalities. You need something that to bind you together. He gives them 10 commandments. And the first commandment is, as different nationalities, different people, different in nature and expression, come together under these 10 principles and live with each other. He gives them an order again. But again, this order gets into people who are attached or greedy of power, and what happens, the misuse of power, order becomes chaos again. And this is the cycle we see around us. And the big banquet Jesus is talking about. He talks about two people. The people who are invited. They are not turning up. Why? Because I think it is a sin of complacency. The sin of complacency. Even in a psychological way, sin of complacency is something that we may not detect, but is very active in our lives. Complacency can be understood in two ways. One is, complacency can make us so depressed. I have a good income, I have a good job, my business is going well, but I am very bored. Everything is going fine. I'm very bored. I'm very sheltered. And I feel this deep, deep depression within me. Then complacency can take another form. I'm a victim. Everyone else has to do things for me. I'm a victim of the structures around me. I'm a victim of generational trauma. I'm a victim of people who abuse my people, my land, my country, and everything has to be done for me. So complacency can take two forms. One is a form of depression because everything is well and good and nothing challenges me. And the complacency, in other words, I don't want to take ownership of my life, my country, my people. Let someone else do that for me, and I'm a victim of structures. So that is complacency. And this can take in two ways in the banquet of the gospel. People who are so complacent about life, they say, well, I have business to do. I have to look after other things. I don't have time. Banquet, too much work. I have to drink and dance. Bye-bye. And people who feel victimized, as soon as the invitation to banquet comes, they attack. Because the victimization turns into anger. Anger attacks God's design. And when good people become complacent, either because so we are depressed or we are victimized, parasites grow. And that is why we find in the good order of God, there are people without the white garment. He invites everyone to the banquet, but there are people without the white garment. And how do people without the white garment? What is white garment? White garment is people who, a person with white garment, we can understood in different ways. One is a person who understands grace, understands the supremacy of God, understands the design God has given us, understands the design God has given to families, structures, and people in terms of gender, sexuality, composition of family, and the environment God has given us. That is the white garment. Someone who gets into without the white garment means he or she has a very hidden agenda. That white garment is parasite. And how does parasite grow? When good people like us become complacent because so we are so comfortable or we are so victimized. When good people like us, me and you, when we become complacent, parasites grow. The Hamas group will grow. The good people who may be feeling that we are so victimized generationally and so obsessed with the victimization, terrorist group like Hamas will use good people and children and innocent women as shield, and upon them they will grow, because they are the people who doesn't have the white garment. They don't understand what is the value of life, what is the value of children, what is the value of woman, what is the value of freedom. But they have hidden agendas, and that agenda is that they don't have a white garment in the banquet. Hezbollah may grow under the disguise of innocent Lebanese people. Taliban may grow under the disguise of innocent Afghanistan people. ISIS may grow under the disguise of innocent people of the Middle East. When good people became complacent, parasites grow. We are unable to see those who are not wearing white garments in our gatherings. And it is also true in our personal lives. We need order. If it is too much order, then there is pathology, then there is slavery. We need chaos. But if it is only chaos, then life is a mess. What we need is Jesus and his cross, where there is order and when there is chaos. And that is And what is God asking us when there is order and chaos? He is asking us to be honest, active engagement with order and chaos. He does not ask us to take sides. But what he does is, there is order, there is chaos. Please take active, honest engagement with life. What happens in the Middle East, not my problem, because I get paid. I have a great superannuation. That can be complacency. Oh, I am so woken up by what happens in Middle East. I march through the streets of Sydney and yell anti-Semitic language because I am so victimized. That is not honest engagement. Honest engagement is to hold both order and chaos and actively engaging, asking questions, so that we will be so vigilant and we will find out those parasites who gets into human order without a white garment, undermining the basic structures of our lives, undermining the basic principles of being a human person. And the person who holds order and chaos so brilliantly together is Christ. He told us how to embrace enemies, how to embrace the marginalized. He taught us how to carry the pain, how to transform the wounds. He taught us how to forgive. He taught us how to sacrifice. And when we see Christ risen, we still see his wounds. There is no perfect order, and neither there is complete chaos. We live in a world there is order and chaos. And our banquets should be a banquet where we honestly engage with the reality around us. And that is why gospel consistently say to us, be vigilant, pay attention. Let us be grateful for the gift of cross and the power of Christ, who can transform pain into joy, death into life. Amen.